Hello and welcome to the Floor Game. I'm your host, Chuck Walton. I'm joined by 10-time NBA vet, 2-time All-Star, and 2-time NBA champion, Norm Nixon. Norm?
Pleasure.
Pleasure to have you. Now, for those who do not know how the show's going to work, the Floor Game is a show where we grab several NBA players, but mainly our mainstay, Norm Nixon. We let him take the floor on all the hottest topics, from social media to Kobe and the Lakers to LeBron to if Derrick Rose can stay healthy. But today, we're going to go up north to the Bay, the Golden State Warriors. They've got a new head coach in Steve Kerr. He's been around the NBA, played GM before. He steps in and fills in for Mark Jackson. But talk about Klay Thompson and Steph Curry, the Splash Bros. They are killing it right now. Klay gets the big contract. The night after he gets the big contract, he goes out there in the home opener, goes for 41 against the Lakers. What makes Klay Thompson such a threat and special player at such a young age?
Well, you and I spoke about this a couple of weeks ago. I loved his game from his rookie season to now. Klay's 6'7". He's a guy that plays the toughest offensive player from the opposing team that plays 1, 2, or 3 position. He's a great scorer. He understands the game. You can watch him on the floor, his decision making. But there was one incident that showed me the type of player he was his rookie year. I was sitting on the court at a Lakers game, and he cut to the box, and Kobe was guarding him. And Kobe took that personally when you got a rookie trying to post him up. He elbowed him, he pushed him. Klay Thompson got the ball, backed him, bumped him to create space, took a jump shot, scored, ran down court like it was nothing. And I was sitting down with a friend of mine, and I just looked out and said, this young boy can play. He knew that he could take Kobe on the box, score on him, didn't get caught up into trying to do all these flagrant fouls or all this. Just took him on the box, coolly scored, and kept going. Another incident, I watched him playing against Chris Paul. He realized that he's 6'7", Chris Paul 6 feet. Took him straight to the box and punished him. So I love that about his game. So as I watched him, if you watched him the last 3 years previous to this year, every year he's improved. Now he's the number 5th scorer in the league, number 5 scoring, but just a great all-around game.
And what is his ceiling as a player? I mean, he's a younger player. He's got years left. He's on a good team. What is his ceiling? Could Klay potentially be considered a top 3 player in the league? Is he top 5? Is he already there?
Absolutely. I think he's there right now. I think that the test, or when you say what's the ceiling is being this consistently for the next 7, 8 years. To have one great year and then fall off is not a good sign. So his test is going to be, can you do this your 4th year, 5th year, 6th year, 7th year, and 8th year? And when you can do it over a period of time, then you're recognized as one of the greatest players to play.
And his team, the Warriors, what do they have to do to try and make a real shot and bring it home, the Larry O'Brien Trophy?
Well, there are 2 things. Number one, when I look at this team, when most of your scoring is coming from your backcourt, that's a problem. Because I know this as a player. When you get in the playoffs, if you want to shut the team down, you can shut guards down. If you shut those guys down, they're your primary scorers. You're not getting a score from the box. You're in trouble. You have to have someone on the box that can put the other team's big men in foul trouble or create opportunities closer to the basket. So the one deficiency when I watch that team is the front line. I love Bogut's game, but if we go by his history, he's not going to be healthy throughout the season. So if they can find a guy to give them a presence on the box and become a threat on the box, that would take that team to a different level.
All right, Norm, so moving forward, we got to bring up something that may be uncomfortable for you. I don't want to make you uncomfortable. You're a real smooth brother, but our generation that's going to be watching this at home, on their computer screens, wherever they're at, they're going to want us to ask a social media question. All right? Now, I don't know if you're on Twitter or not, but what I will do is I'll ask you about social media and how it relates to today's players. And what would have happened if you guys had social media in some of the locker rooms that you played in back in the day?
Well, I tell you, I have to claim dinosaur when it comes to this. But again, you know, you watch guys sometimes and you would see stuff where guys were tweeting from the locker room, tweeting on the bench, lose a game, go in, tweet, Instagram pictures, and they were losing. So I think in my era, if we lost the game and the next day we found out someone was tweeting from the bench or halftime tweeting about the game or doing impersonations after we lose the game, that would have been some fights. we wouldn't have taken that very well.
Okay, answer me this. On some of the famous teams that you've been on, the legendary teams,
Right.
what coach or player, if you guys had Twitter and Instagram back in those days, what coach or player you think would have utilized that tool the most?
That would have been Magic.
And the Magic Man.
Yeah, even that tweet. But again, you know, when you come from a team that's winning, you know, when you lost the game, I don't think anybody would have been on social media. I think most of the guys it was just different. We took losses hard. We didn't socialize with other teams as much as these guys do now. I mean, again, it's a different world now. Technology is different, so maybe we would have. But coming from where we were and what was available to us, I couldn't see that being a big part of our locker rooms or our benches. Coaches wouldn't allow it, first of all, because it would have been something that would have been intrusive. I mean, even if you watch today where they have cameras in huddles, coaches doing interviews during the game, you can see guys like Pop, and you can look at their expressions and know they really don't want to deal with it. And they really don't want you to hear what they're saying in their huddles, because what we did in the locker room pretty much stayed in the locker room. What you do in your huddles during timeout, stay in your huddle, because there were some words tossed around and conversations that you just won't want other people to hear. You know, because, you know, we got on each other in those situations.
Now, there was a real big situation a couple weeks ago where they unearthed a whole bunch of NBA tweets from years ago from former and current players and stuff. So one particular tweet, Damian Lillard, while he was still in college at Weber State, was tweeting some negative things about LeBron back during the finals when they were taking on Oklahoma City. Even though he said LeBron was his favorite player, he was really getting on him and using some profanity and things like that. And obviously the other night, the Trailblazers played LeBron's Cleveland Cavaliers. If you were LeBron, would that be something, even though I mean it's a young kid, he's probably not even thinking he's going to the NBA at that point, would that kind of motivate you a little more to go out there and really put one on him that night?
Well, I think you're motivated anyway. That would just be extra incentive to go out and punish him. But what social media has done and is still doing, I mean, guys speak a lot of times and do stuff before they have a chance to sit back and think about it. I think, you know, at the spur of the moment, a lot of us would have said things. And a lot of us have said things like, at the spur of the moment, in the heat of the moment, you might say something. But if you have a chance to think about it, you might not. With these guys, a lot of times, they tweet something, it's like, oh man, a couple million people already saw it.
It's already gone.
So it's too late. It's too late. So I think social media doesn't allow you the opportunity to retract things once you put them out there, and it's out there. So Damian was a young guy. Does LeBron need an incentive to spank him? No.
Probably not.
Extra incentive? Yes, they gave a little extra incentive. And I think if there was an opportunity where it might have been a one-on-one situation and he could have fouled him really hard or maybe offensively put it on him really hard, he would have done it.
Two-time NBA All-Star, two-time NBA champion Norm Nixon with myself, Chuck Walton. Thank you for watching this on Elite Insiders. We'll be back with the next episode next week. Take care.